Hi, everyone. This is Jim O'Connor from your Guidance Resources Program, and it's wonderful to be speaking to the folks from Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools. It's a great opportunity to talk to you about your program, and I'm going to wait just a minute. There are a number of you signed up, and I want to make sure we have everybody who's checking in has a chance to just complete the process. So we're going to give them about 30 seconds. In the meantime, I want to remind you that your phones will be on mute. However, we do have a question box, and if you would like to send me a question you have about the program or any comments, I'm very happy to take those. I'll keep an eye on the question box, and we won't use your name. No one will see your name when you call in with a question, but we will paraphrase it and work it into our discussion and see if we can answer your question for you. So first question I have for you is, can everybody hear me? And if some brave volunteer would just type in a quick "Hi, Jim" to the question box, give you a chance to make sure it's not rusty, it's still working. Okay, there we go. We have a winner. Thank you so much. So why don't we get started? So as I said, I'm Jim O'Connor. I spent more than 20 years as a senior account management for Guidance Resources. So it was my job to understand the program and make sure that employees and their family members were getting the best use out of it. And it was a lot of fun. Now I've semi-retired. I'm doing training for Guidance Resources, but I really enjoy this, and I understand the program quite well from all of my years and recent experience with Guidance Resources. It's a great program, and I'm going to go through it in some detail. We'll take any questions that you have, but just want to encourage you that it's a wonderful resource, and it's available to you, and your dependent family members also have the same access to the benefit. Okay, so I'm going to disappear from the screen so we can concentrate on the slides. Okay, here we go. All right, Guidance Resources for employees of the Metropolitan Nashville Public School System. Wonderful city of Nashville. Been there several times. I got to tell you quickly, the last time I went there, I had the best experience. I was walking by BB King's restaurant and pub, and there was a big line out there, and I asked some folks, so what's going on? And they said, BB King's playing here tonight. So, well, that would be worth seeing for sure. So I bought a ticket, but it turned out, it was standing room only, and it was 3 hours before the show. So I finally got tired. I said, oh, well, I'm not going to wait another 2 hours. And I went to leave, and the guy said, hey, wait, I'll give you a seat right up front. So sure enough, he did. Well, BB King came out with his band, and he played, a full set, and the band left the stage. It was, as I recall, Christmas week. And BB came back out, and he looked at the audience. He said, if there's anybody out there who plays guitar or anything and has your axe with you, I just feel like playing some more music, and it's Christmas. We're going to sing some Christmas carols. And so I was a musician, but I didn't have my axe with me. I think I would have been a little intimidated. But anyways, BB King went on for another hour and a half playing Jingle Bells and Silent Night and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was one of the most fun nights I've ever had. So great memories of Nashville. So let me tell you about your program. I'm going to give you the overview. I'm going to talk about access and availability, and I won't keep you in suspense. Access is easy. We're open all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'll tell you how to call and how to get to the website. We'll go over some of the different components, and we'll show you the online part of the program too. Okay? I want to just take a moment to tell you a little bit about ComPsych Guidance Resources, the program that delivers your EAP and work-life services. So we've been around for over 30 years, founded in 1984, and we are the largest EAP provider. Now, I started with ComPsych in about 1999, I think, and we were a much smaller company. We've grown very organically until we're now, I think, in every county in the US and close to 100 countries worldwide. But we still have the feeling of kind of that mom and pop type of organization. There's not a lot of bureaucratic red tape. I know as an account manager, if I needed to do something for a client, it was pretty easy to get that done. So we like to listen to what our clients need and respond to it. We take care of more than 118 million individuals. They have our phone number, and 53,000 different organizations in 170 different countries. That number has gone up. When you call Guidance Resources, you're probably going to reach our worldwide headquarters in Chicago at the NBC Tower. We used to share that tower with the Jerry Springer Show, and I'll tell you, there were some interesting days going into work in the lobby of that building when Jerry Springer was there. Okay, I just see somebody popped a question in there. Let me see what that is. You know, we had, I just asked folks if you could hear me, and some folks said that they could. I'm going to send this person a message. It's probably something to do with her own computer. This just take me a second. All right, so we hope that person will be able to, it's usually the computer settings that causes that problem. We always test this before we start. Okay, so in addition to the Chicago office, after 9/11 and some of the issues with, oh, wait a minute. So I'm having a couple people say they can't hear me. I'm just gonna check my audio for a second here. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that seems to be working. Okay, I think most people can hear me. Thank you very much. I don't want to belabor this, but we also don't want somebody to log in. So I sent a message that to check the computer settings. Thanks so much for getting back to me. There's no worse feeling than thinking you're talking into thin air. So as I was saying, after 9/11, and also, there was an earlier, we probably forget this, but some years ago, there was an earlier scare about a pandemic. I think it was called H1N1. And it really got us thinking that we needed to have some mirror sites around the country in case something terrible happened and Chicago had to be shut down, or even just a major, blizzard or something like that. So now we have sites in Miami area, which helps us with our Spanish language capability, and also in Las Vegas. And we are up and running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We also provide, you see that critical incident services. So if there's a major issue like a hurricane or a tornado, following things like 9/11, I myself was very involved in going to different companies and talking with them, kind of helping them get back on track emotionally. So we provide those services when they're requested by managers and HR, and even smaller but very important issues like when an employee passes away, a team member, and people would like to have a chance to sit with a counselor in a group or individually and just kind of talk about how they're doing. So Guidance Resources is free to you. It's at no cost to you and your dependent household members. So your spouse, your children, your significant other can all take advantage of the program. If you have a kid under 13, we ask that when they call in that the parent be there to get that ball rolling. But they all have the same benefit that you do, and they can use their sessions separately. Sometimes we do family counseling or couples counseling too. So we're going to get into that counseling in some detail, but we also let you know you have a legal and a financial consultation program. We can help you find work-life resources. And of course, right now with the pandemic, that's between elder care and child care, so much is in flux, and having somebody you can turn to that can make those phone calls can be really important. And then I'll show you the website, a few pages on the website for you. So why would an organization like the Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools come to Guidance Resources and ComPsych, the company that delivers it, for help? Many studies and just personal experience, tells us that if you are stressed and you're preoccupied with an emotional issue or a family issue, you can't find a suitable daycare for your child. All these things kind of weigh on us, and we know that employees can become more frequently absent. They can become distracted and make mistakes. If you're a teacher and you're really distracted, you might not be at your best, especially when you have all the stresses that the coronavirus has brought around the country. And sometimes people even get distressed to the point where they might work more unsafely or even get in accidents. So providing a place that people can go for free confidential counseling can be a real boon to the organization. Now, what about you as a teacher or staff member? It can help prevent small problems from becoming big problems. And we mean that really seriously. So unlike an insurance program that may have to determine if you reach a certain level of anxiety or depression, you can call Guidance Resources anytime you want about any personal issue. And we're happy to talk with you and work with you about that. It doesn't have to be rise to the level of a clinical issue. As a matter of fact, we would prefer it if you call when the problem is small and really much more manageable. We can help you with the negative impacts of stress, and what a year everyone's had, and continuing to have, but knock on wood, we're going to start to see some improvement, I hope, soon. Can help you feel happier and more energetic when that kind of weight is lifted off your shoulders and you have some resources to help you, and can help you concentrate and perform better. And that if you have a child and your child's having a tough time, it's tough to concentrate at work. And that's why we offer the service, and Metropolitan Nashville Schools offer the service to family members also. So anyone who's living in your household who is a dependent family member is eligible for the same program that you are. So here's an example. Every day when an employee tried to leave for work, her daughter would cry hysterically and refuse to go to school. I think they changed the gender of that employee because I think they're talking about me. Some years ago when my kids were in daycare. The employee worried that she was a bad parent and there was something seriously wrong. Her work performance was suffering because she was distracted by these thoughts. And, is it the right daycare? What's the problem here? Does my child have some kind of an emotional problem? Am I doing the wrong thing by dropping my child? I mean, people have all kinds of things in their mind. She contacted the EAP and spoke to a counselor who helped her recognize that she was not alone. This was not an uncommon problem, and offered advice on how to cope with the stress. I mean, I'll tell you what happened when I called Guidance Resources. They told me, call the school directly and talk to either the director or the teacher and tell them about your concerns. And I did, and they kind of chuckled, which didn't make me feel all that much better. But then the daycare director said, Jim, I've seen Andrew in the morning, and yes, he does run to the window and cry while you're getting into the car and driving out of the parking lot. But as soon as you're out of the picture, he turns around and runs to his buddies at the sand table or the water table or wherever these kids go to play in the morning, and he's just fine for the rest of the day. So, I picked my ego up off the floor, and I was really happy that this wasn't a serious problem, but just kind of a rite of transition, right? Here's a different one. An employee has long held a dream to spend her honeymoon on a private island with beautiful beaches. Wow, that's this person has set the bar high, right? With her wedding coming up in 13 months, so she's got a little time to plan. She isn't sure whether where she should go or whether she can afford it. So she called one of our work-life consultants, and again, it's the same number, put together a package of information. So they are really good about putting together places that have occupancy opened, vacancies, price, what they offer, how far in advance you have to book, what the cancellation, all the things that you'd want to know about a big event like a wedding. Right now, of course, we are on top of the latest local coronavirus restrictions and things like that. So the other aspect of it is, these kind of wedding honeymoons are not cheap. So we also said, hey, why don't you talk with one of our financial planners, and they can talk with you about how to work up a budget so that you can save enough to make this dream come true. Not nice. We also help with things like credit card bills. That's a big reason for people calling us when they find that they have credit card issues. As you get older, you start to worry about whether you have enough money to comfortably retire, and we can talk with you. We don't pick stocks and funds for you, but we can talk about, how risky you should be at this point in your life, and what the kind of guardrails are around protecting your assets and things like that. You don't know how to talk to your kids or your teens about difficult subjects like sex, drugs, and suicide. And of course, right now, there is information coming in that teenagers are having a particularly difficult time. And I'm sure I'm not telling the folks at Nashville Public Schools anything that you're not very, very aware of, that the coronavirus and some of the restrictions and the isolation have been very, very tough on our teenagers. So we hope we can get past that really, really soon. And just keep it up with all your responsibilities and anything that's causing you stress. Even if you have this kind of this free-floating anxiety, you don't know what the heck is bothering you, pick up the phone and call us. That's what we do. The program is confidential. I'm going to tell you quickly, there are a couple of exceptions, and many of you may be mandated reporters of things like child abuse. Elder abuse or abuse of a disabled person would be among those. If there was any kind of imminent threat of serious harm, just like any therapist, we would, carefully consider violating confidentiality in the service of protecting a child. So those sorts of things. If somebody made a threat to the workplace, we would, depending on you, we would evaluate the threat, and we're pretty experienced with this sort of thing, and we would, alert the authorities if we needed to do something like that. People wonder about our digital privacy, and I got to tell you that we have some very, very large clients at Guidance Resources. I used to work with the IRS as a client, Department of Homeland Security, large banks, and these folks are very, very careful about digital privacy. And so they actually come to ComPsych and they spend 3 or 4 days and they spend time in our server rooms and they check the locks and the passwords and the training. And sometimes they make, little suggestions that are actually, improvements in our policies, and we implement them. So we feel that our digital privacy is maintained at absolutely the state of the art, and we have a really good record to show for that. We do report back to the Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools, but we don't report on any particular individual who uses the program. It's only aggregate data so that the school system can see that people are using the program. Sometimes it gives them a little insight into whether anxiety is an issue, or marital, are the things that they can do as an organization to help support their employees. But never, ever would anything go back that would have an identifying bit of information. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a second and check my my question box here. Okay. So it looks like we're just going to move on from that. There we go. So break the suspense here, and I'm going to give you your number. It is 888-297-9028. Now that number is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always going to be a master's level clinical person for you to talk to there any time of the day or night. And you can also go to guidanceresources.com just for information, to look at some we call them help sheets, little bits of information on hundreds of different topics. I'll show you some of the screenshots of the web page. If you're looking for counseling or you want to talk to a financial person, it's best to pick up the phone and give us a call. That's going to be the most immediate way to get through. But the website is a wonderful resource for employees to just learn about something themselves. I mean, even maybe you have a student and you're curious about something, a diagnosis you've heard. We may have some information for you on the website on different learning disabilities and things like that. Of course, you may be far more expert than we are, even because you do this every day, but the resources there, maybe there's something you can print out and give to a parent, right? Okay. Any other questions on the counseling part of the program? Just back up to here. Whoop. So you have a really good program, I got to tell you. You have a 10 session model. That is the Cadillac in this industry. It's 10 sessions is a long time. It's almost 3 months of counseling. And if you stretch it out to every other week, it could be several months of counseling. So We don't always see that, 3 and 5 are very typical. This is a really, really good program. So 10 sessions, and that is per issue per year, right? So if I call in and in January of last year, I was, feeling a little depressed, I might get my 10 sessions and I feel better. And then in April, when the coronavirus was really taking off, I might feel some anxiety around that. And I might call in and I could get another 10 sessions. And that's each of your family household members gets that 10 free sessions. So there's no co-payments, no deductibles. And again, it's confidential. And it's voluntary. You have to want to call us. You can't be forced to call us. Managers do, and they play a wonderful role in suggesting that we could be of assistance to them. But the final decision is really up to you. And if 10 sessions of counseling does not do it for you, and you still need additional help, during the last couple of sessions, we would be working with you to transition to your insurance program. Now, it's possible that a counselor who is in our program might also be in the network for your insurance, but there's no guarantee of that. So we would take some time to make sure the transition goes smoothly, okay? So 10 sessions, it's face-to-face in a normal world. Right now, it's being done either over the phone or over like a Zoom type of interaction. And people are reporting a positive experience with that. We really are looking forward to getting back to the face-to-face. That is our typical mode of counseling for 99% of people who call. But honestly, I'll be surprised if we don't see that number go down a little bit, and some people realize that this is a fine way to do it, and it's a little more, it's very convenient, and I don't have to drive to an office. There may be some benefits that people see. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Here's another little example. Employee was struggling to deal with the pressures of the job, felt the deadlines were impossible to meet. His boss did not treat him with respect. And some days he got so upset, he would lose his temper and raise his voice to coworkers. It might be, that the stresses of a particular class are getting to an instructor. And it's something that you've done years before, but for something about this year, it's just, making this really, really stressful for you. So this person contacted EAP, spoke to a counselor. What we don't do is mediate between the supervisor and an employee. We will talk with you and help you come up with some strategies to better address, if you're having anger in the office issue, how can you be assertive without being overly aggressive? And how do you have a respectful conversation with your supervisor, your department head, whatever, so that you can make your feelings known and maybe start on a better path, okay? And again, 888-297-9028 is the phone number to call to schedule those sessions. So you call in, you talk to a master's level or doctoral level clinician, and they will give you the name of a counselor who's in your community, and then you call and make your own appointment. If for any reason you have any difficulty doing that, just let us know and we will assist you. But we'll give you the number and you'll make the call. Usually people want to kind of schedule on their own time, take a look at their calendar, have a chat with the counselor. And, if you have a chat and you say, I just don't feel like I'm meshing with this person, you can call us back. We'll give you a different name. Even if you've gone to a couple counseling sessions, we would still provide you with that. Okay. All right. So before we leave the counseling, I'm just going to check our question box again and see if there's any other questions about this. Yeah, it's somebody asked, is it 10 visits per year? Yes, per issue per year. So again, I as a dad could have 10 sessions on anxiety, and my daughter could have 10 sessions on the difficulty of doing school remotely and feeling isolated. I might come back with a different issue later on around marital counseling. Perhaps my spouse and I would go together. So it's 10 visits per year, per issue, per family member. I hope that that is a good way to explain it. It's a very generous program, let me tell you. And if you have any questions, just give us a call and you can ask. Okay. So we also have a legal program. So you can call and speak to a lawyer about any legal issue. And these, the legal and the financial and the work life, the things I'm going to be talking about in a minute, don't count against the 10 visits. That's just for your counseling. Okay. This is a different program, same number, but it's unlimited. You know, we don't feel usually if you're working for the Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools that you're going to have 17 different legal issues. So if in February you're talking about the legal ramifications of buying a house, that would be one thing. And then maybe in July you had a question about protecting your parents' estate. That would be another one. You could call again on that. But we're not going to do a lengthy, we can't try your case on the phone. So we'll give you a consultation. We'll give you some ideas. We'll give you some, background on, whether or not this is a sort of thing that you could potentially collect more money than you're going to spend, that sort of question. Things like family law, divorce, custody, child support. Wills, we can answer a question on a will. We don't do your will for you, but you can go on the website and I'll show you where. And for a nominal fee, something like $15, I think, you can get your will done. You can do your will online, and if you ran into a question and you want to call one of the lawyers and say, "What's this term mean? Do you think this applies to me?" They can answer a question like that for you. Estate planning, again, in every state in the union now, if your parent or you has an estate, a home, for example, and you own it and you leave it to go to a nursing home, the state will consider it an asset. So how can you protect that? There are legal ways, but they take advanced planning of several years. So it's the sort of thing you have to really kind of get in front of. But if you do, you can make a big difference in the value of an estate by protecting things like your home, which becomes an asset once you no longer live there. So you get the half-an-hour consultation, and then about 50% of the time, people want to go and see a lawyer. They may actually want to take a case to court, and we can give you a referral. And that attorney, if you let them know that we gave you their name, they'll give you a discount of 25% and a free consultation. Okay. Similar on the financial side, you can call about budgeting, again, tax questions, credit issues, real estate. Are there programs out there for first-time home buyers? We can help you look for scholarships, for a child who's going to college, or even if you want to go back to college. In retirement planning, am I on the right track here? Is this generally the way I should be going? And again, it's confidential like all of our programs. It's also objective. So our CPAs and CFAs that you talk with, they don't have any way to make money off of you. I mean, we pay them and that's how they make their money. We don't have anything to sell. And so that gives them a very objective eye that perhaps not every other financial planner might have. Different financial planners are reimbursed in different ways. Sometimes they have their own products to sell, things like that. So this is a good first step. It's not long-term financial planning. It's sort of to help you get a grip on things and understand things better and feel like maybe you're moving in the right direction. And then we can give you a referral to a financial planner, but that would be on your dime after that. Okay, so any questions on the legal or the financial parts of the program, I'll be happy to entertain them. So that's an interesting question. Are there any resources to help grants to start up a business? So we don't help people start a business for the reason, and this is like the only thing that we don't do, but I'll explain briefly why, is that the school system is paying us to help you flourish and stay as long as you can in your wonderful career with the Nashville Public Schools. They're not paying us to help you find a different job. And although that may be a wonderful thing for you to do, it's something that's kind of a conflict of interest for us. So we don't do that. Okay. So income taxes. So income tax, it is general questions. You're right. And then you can So if you had a particular question, certainly pick up the phone and ask us. We don't do your taxes for you, but you can call us and ask a particular question. If there's something that you're stuck on, certainly you can give us a call. And people do call us. We get kind of busy during tax season, so we could try to answer a particular question about something that was confusing to you. Okay. Oh, so somebody clarified the question about a grant. Could we help you find a program that helps you learn how to write a grant? We probably could do that. Yeah, I would call us and ask us about that. Sure. Yeah. Are there any programs out there that help people with the idea of grant? The grant writing. How to put your best foot forward, your best business plan forward. I think we could find some programs and help you locate some of those. That seems a little different to me. But call us and ask. Okay. Want to talk a little bit about work-life balance. So this is childcare to elder care, birth to earth, everything in between. Child and elder care right now with the coronavirus, I mean, it's kind of a troubling time out there, and elder care is, of course, so fraught with anxiety. We can give you a call and talk with you about, what places have availability, how are they doing with inspections on the elder care side, what are the state regulations now, any information that would help you make a decision about an elder care facility, we can help you with that. Child care, again, the regulations are changing all the time, and we can help you stay up to date with that and help you find places that have openings if they're available in your community. Other educational opportunities, options. If you have a child who has special needs, perhaps you don't live right in Nashville and you want to know what the special needs programs are like there. Other community information, if you decided to move to another part of the state, we could help you understand what the cultural amenities are, what the cost of living is, different things like that, anywhere in the country. Event planning, that's kind of a funny one. So, you have a kid, let's say post-coronavirus, and you want to have a Star Wars party for them. Who does that? We'll help you find that. And I called years ago when my son was maybe 10 years old, and he was really into the Navy. His grandfather was a Normandy beach survivor, and he was just really fascinated by this as a kid, still is. And they were able to help me find a battleship, the Battleship Massachusetts, that actually hosts a birthday party for kids. And wow, was that the best party we ever had. They still talk about his buddies. They still talk about that party. Buying and selling a home, relocation, as I said, we can get you information on different school systems and how they stack up as far as different measures. Assistance for shopping, you're probably saying, well, I know how to shop, Jim. I don't need help with that. But occasionally, we help people find really hard to locate items. We have a board at ComPsych where we have all the kind of crazy things that people have asked us to do. And one that really stuck in my mind from my last visit was somebody had a parakeet and they needed a prosthetic leg. And I do believe that the guy who did this lived in Tennessee. They found this guy who lived in Tennessee and was a whittler, a wood carver, and he was able to do this. And we hooked them up together, and the bird lived happily ever after, I guess. I didn't go too far in the future with that, but that was one of the more unusual ones. Okay, here's a situation. Employee had a 3-year-old child. Grandma would take care of her while the employee goes to work. The employee just learned that starting next month, Grandma has a life now, and she's got other things to do, and she no longer can take care of this beautiful little child. Feeling worried, when you move from in-home family centered in your own family daycare, it can be kind of a scary thing. So we, talked with this person and helped locate local daycare facilities, checked on availability and pricing and what the programs were like and different things like that. And next month's childcare lined up by the end of the week. So those are the sorts of things that we can help with. And I got a question here. Let's see. Yes, so someone is asking about finding affordable housing in her area. please give us a call about that. We'll do whatever research is out there. We'll try to find the best options for you. That would be certainly a good use of the program. Just tell them, call in and just tell them you're looking for housing information, and they'll have a little consult with you, and then they'll start some research for you. Okay. Whoop, knocked the microphone there. Okay. This is a screenshot of our website, and it's optimized for your smartphone, your Android or Apple phone. And you can go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, I think is the other one, to download it. It's free, and you just put in your code, which I'll show you in a minute, to get your own code for your school district. There's just an amazing amount of stuff on this website, including little trainings that you can go through in like 8 minutes, help sheets on thousands of different, I mean thousands of different topics. We do have things like a scholarship database, but there's thousands of things in there. Better to call us and tell us what your child is interested in, or yourself, and what affiliations you might have, and let us do the research for you. It'd save you a little bit of time. You can chat with a guidance consultant. Now that's mostly just to sort of request services. We don't do therapy over the chat, but we can get you started and help you get a referral to therapy. Okay. This is the place where you log in, and you just put your username and password. The first time you go in, you register, and you're going to put in a code. And I'm going to see if it's on the next page. If not, it's a little further down. The little code there is not yours. That's kind of a generic one. You put in your username, your password, and then you answer a couple questions in case you're like me and you forget your password. Just kind of a typical website like that. This is a screenshot of the actual website. And if you look at the 3 big boxes in the center, if you say is your estate in order, that's where you can go and have your will. You can do your will online, and something you do yourself. But again, if you had a question, the lawyers at ComPsych won't do your will for you, but they could answer a question for you. So this is a legally binding will. I think it costs $14.99, something like that. Far less than than going face to face with an attorney, which could be up to $1,000 or even more. And if you have a fairly straightforward situation, you don't own a few businesses and a bunch of different real estate assets and things like that. For the average person, this is going to be an easy way to get your taxes done. Excuse me, not your taxes, your will. So your will, and you can also get a living will. So do I want to have artificial resuscitation? Do I want to have artificial nutrition and things like that? If I'm unable, because I'm in a coma or a vegetative state, that sort of thing that hospitals really like to have filled out before something happens. Then you can see there's some things on nutrition, finance. If you look at the 3 boxes descending there, about, access, and alert, so a little bit about your program, how to get in touch with us. And then the alerts are things like, some years ago, there was a terrible flood in Nashville, and we put alerts up there about what roads are closed, where the shelters were, how to get in touch with FEMA. And there's always something on there. Snowstorms, the freezing weather in Texas, we had just a ton of stuff out there about that. So if there's any large scale natural disaster, we have information out there for you to check up, and it's frequently updated, so it's up to date. And so somebody asked, is ComPsych the app or Guidance Resources? So I'll show you the actual URL. It's Guidance Resources, one word, and you'll see it in one of the last pages. But the ComPsych webpage is more like the corporate webpage. It's not for an employee to get help for themselves. So thanks for that question. That's good. Not ComPsych.com, but guidanceresources.com. And again, I'll show you that. Thanks for those questions. And there it is. Okay, just like I promised. So you can see where it says online, guidanceresources.com. and then you put in your company web ID just the first time you go in there. MNPS. Now you may say, oh, I know what that stands for. That's not all that secure. This is just to get you to the correct web page. We have a lot of clients and the phone numbers are different and the programs are different, things like that. So this is a customized web page for Metro Nashville Public Schools. And you just go to guidanceresources.com and put in that MNPS. This is probably also on like your benefits website through Human Resources, your benefits department. Very often they have that, or they have brochures available for you. 888-297-9028. And that number is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We hire nice people, believe me, I know many of them, and then we train them to be even nicer. Our big thing is taking care of you. We don't want you to feel like you're in an emergency room and we're going to ask you a billion questions about your insurance and this and that and your income. You know, we're just going to have a conversation with you when you call. Try to put you a little bit at ease and try to help you get to the next step. And that's what the whole idea behind Guidance Resources is. So again, it's that really generous 10 session per issue, per household dependent family member. Okay. And then it is the legal and the financial consultation, work-like resources like childcare, elder care, colleges, scholarships, all sorts of things. And the great website. So if you just want to check out our website, it just takes a minute to log in. I certainly recommend that you do that. So let me check my question box, and I'm going to pop my head back up on the screen here. Make sure I'm smiling. Okay, let me see if we have any last minute questions. I'm going to give you back a minute or so. And I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. For being curious about the program. It's a wonderful program, and I recommend it wholeheartedly without any reservations. We'll take really good care of you and your family if you give us a call, so don't hesitate to do that. Just pick up the phone and dial that number, and we will be there any hour of the day or night, okay? Well, with that, I'm going to wish you the best. Please take good care of yourselves. We do appreciate all you do to educate the wonderful children who look to you for so much, and especially in such a difficult year, and looking forward to getting back to a more normal and wonderful 2021. So from ComPsych Guidance Resources, this is Jim O'Connor saying you have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week, and take good care. Don't hesitate to call us if we can be of any assistance at all. That's what we're here for. Okay? Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.